In ancient China, when cities were still encircled by stone walls and caravans laden with silk and spices moved slowly along dusty roads, there lived a master who was revered for his extraordinary calm. He was known throughout the land not only as a sage but as a man whose very presence brought stillness. It seemed that even the noisy marketplace quieted when he passed, and the mountain winds softened, as if they feared to disturb his peace. No one had ever seen the master angry. This astonished many, for people around him lived ordinary lives. They quarreled, argued over coins, shouted at the market over a bolt of cloth or a basket of fruit. Children cried, traders barked their prices, and weary farmers raised their voices in frustration on the road home. Yet the master walked past all this as if he heard only the song of birds, the murmur of a stream, or the distant tolling of temple bells. Even when he himself was unjustly accused by a jealous official or a dissatisfied student, his face remained serene, as bright as the morning sky after rain. The students often tried to uncover the secret of their teacher's tranquility. Each had his own theory. Some believed he possessed a hidden breathing technique. Others thought he suppressed emotions by sheer will. And still others claimed that such a temperament was simply a gift from heaven. One day, a young student, restless and full of youthful fire, dared to ask him directly. "Master," he said, "how is it that you remain so calm when the world is filled with cruelty and injustice? People lie, deceive, shout, and humiliate one another. Do you never feel anger when you see such things?" The master looked at him for a long moment but did not answer. His gaze seemed to reflect not the words of the question but its very essence. At last he rose and said quietly, "Come with me." They passed through the city gates. The day was clear, the sun high, and the air shimmered with heat. The road wound between rice fields where peasants labored. Birds lifted from the water, leaving ripples behind them. The student walked beside his teacher, waiting for the explanation. His heart was uneasy. He longed to hear the secret, to free himself from his burning doubts. But the master walked slowly, eyes on the path. From time to time, he stopped to watch a stalk of grain bending in the wind, or an insect climbing along its stem. The student's impatience grew, yet he held his tongue. At last, they came to a wide river. The water gleamed in the sunlight, its surface stretched like a mirror to the horizon. The master halted. "Look into the river," he said. The student leaned forward and saw his face in the water calm, as though the river reflected not his troubled heart but only the outer shell. Just then the current carried a dry branch across the surface. The water rippled, the reflection trembled, and the student's face became distorted, like a grotesque mask. "Tell me," asked the master, "has your face changed?" The student shook his head. "No, it is not my face that changed. Only the reflection." The master smiled. "Just so with life. What you see around you is like the reflection in a river. When the water is still, all is clear and beautiful. When it stirs, the image is warped. Yet the river remains water, and your face remains unchanged." The student thought for a moment, then asked, "Then why do people grow angry?" The master watched the branch spin slowly in the current. "Because they mistake the reflection for the truth," he said. "They see the distortion and believe it to be reality. They forget that the world is only a mirror. But one who understands depth is not deceived by the surface." He paused, then added, "Consider this. If a mirror distorts your face, should you be angry at it? Or is it wiser to remember that your face remains the same?" The student was silent. His heart grew calmer, though a quiet struggle remained within him. They sat by the river for a long while. The branch drifted away, the water stilled, and the reflection returned, clear and undisturbed. The student watched closely. He saw how everything changed, and yet how everything remained the same. The wind raised, waves sang, the waves fell away. Clouds hid the sun, and the sun shone again a moment later. The master said nothing, allowing the student to discover the truth for himself. At last, the young man whispered, "I understand now. He who can see the depth does not become angry at the surface." The master nodded. "Now you know what cannot be explained in words." From that day on, the student was changed. In the marketplace, he no longer argued when others shouted at him. He saw their anger as ripples on a river rising for a moment, then fading away. When accused unjustly, he remembered, this was only a distorted reflection, not the essence itself. He did not become indifferent or cold, but he carried within himself a quiet strength. Others noticed. "You are different," they said. "Once you were quick to anger, but now you are like the river still and deep." The student only smiled and replied, "I have simply learned not to be angry at reflections.